We just smashed a world record, and we did it using our half-built budget unicorn. The record was for the largest classic car parade in the world. What I didn't know is this was going to turn into a nightmare because they were not prepared for the amount of cars that showed up, including people from different countries and overseas. Unfortunately, many of the cars wouldn't survive long enough to make it to the parade. Some would be stopped entirely from going through. But before that, let's talk about how this happened. In order to register for the parade, you could pre-register online or show up to this.
What are you doing?
Which was the Tulsa Expo Center the day before. I pre-registered, but still needed to pick up my welcome packet, which gave us a certificate saying we entered the parade and these really cool sunglasses. After that, we were free to walk around and look at the setup stands and a select few cars that were allowed in there.
Look at that. Mom, you're in the way. That's a Tesla. Those are one of the most infamous classic cars out there. Wish this older car would get out of the way so we could see it better, you know? So this is what a Mustang's supposed to look like. Where is all the rust, though? I wish it had smaller front wheels, though. I feel like it'd look better with smaller front wheels. To me, this one looks like an older woman. I don't know what it is.
I also found out about a YouTuber called Vice Grip Garage who was there, so I subbed and went to get ready for the parade. The parade would start the next day at 8 a.m., but you could get there as early as 6. I figured if we left the house at 6:30, it would take about 30 minutes to drive up, giving us a full hour to get into the parade's line.
I'm slightly dreading this. I don't know if this is gonna be rough, it feels like. So
The morning of the parade, I went to the shop to grab my car and noticed one of my parents' fish had jumped out of the pond. Once I went down there to throw him back in, I noticed a huge snake attached to the fish.
Oh, dang, that's a big snake.
So, since the snake assassinated the fish, my dad assassinated the snake, which set us back about 30 minutes.
You picked the wrong fish.
In the wrong house.
Oh yeah, there's a direct headshot. What an eventful morning. So we're about to head towards the parade. The car won't start. Something's still draining the battery, I believe. So we're currently letting it charge up a little bit. And we might bring an extra battery with jumper cables so we can jump the car ourselves. Should be hilarious.
We left about 7 a.m., which would still give us plenty of time. Boy, was I wrong.
All right, we're doing this thing. Somehow they allow us on the road.
On the way, there was this thumping noise in kind of the back driver tire.
Update, there's a nice like clicking. I don't know if you can hear that. It's just like tut, 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 tut. That's not a good sign. We're not even close to having left the first town to get to the next one, so it's going good. Going good. So allegedly the lug nuts are on backwards and that's why it's making that noise.
Because they're acorn lug nuts, they're gonna think you're a goofball if you don't tell them that.
They're acorn lug nuts, obviously. Whatever that means. Now we have to see if it'll start again.
She wants to go.
Yep. She's doing good.
Let's get out of here.
The closest place we could find to get a tire tool was Home Depot, since my tire tool was safely in the shop. We limped to the local Home Depot, and once we got the tire tool, we found the wheel almost came off. The lug nuts were about hand tight. Oops. So we ended up leaving the depot about 7:30. So we kept winding around until we found a huge line of classic cars. I mean, this must be it. This is the parade, right? Wrong again, Barbie. I was gonna head to the end of that line like a good citizen, and there was a gap in the cars, and my dad pointed at one of the cars saying it was cool. I misinterpreted it as turn in there. And so I did. I decided to park at a stop sign and just watch the line to see, how it was moving and what would be the best thing to do.
Well, we finally made it and the line is not moving. So, yeah, we might be here a while.
I decided to go talk to the people in the Bronco and see what they knew. They said they had friends at the back of this line that were 3 to 4 miles back, bumper to bumper cars. He also said that most roads in every direction had several miles of classic cars lined up, none of them moving. It took 45 minutes to move a singular car length. During that time, I was feeling pretty ready to back out because of 2 major problems. Classic cars aren't meant to idle very long. They overheat unless you keep them moving, so everyone has to turn off their car after each tiny movement. The other problem was my battery doesn't hold a charge, so if I sat long enough, we weren't going to be able to start my car.
I don't know. We maybe should go home.
So I told my dad we probably should just leave, and he went to walk down the line and check out some of the cars before we did. While he was up there, he noticed they started a new, much shorter line in the lane next to me and said I should come up there. This left me about 1 mile away from the actual turn-in. With us being so much closer, we could now see no one was directing traffic. However, finally a convenient cop showed up and started directing traffic. All the traffic immediately started moving, and this is when a tow truck pulled up and hauled the car off that had broken down. The police then left and everything stopped again. Why? Where did he go?
This is really stupid. I'm not gonna lie, we've been sitting here forever. There was some police officers that came by, directed traffic for a bit. Everything moved super quick, and then they left because they were only there, I guess, to get a wrecker in so they could tow this car that had died. And now my car, brakes are going out, it's not starting very well, it's getting worse and worse. I really don't think we're gonna make it, and then the hill's actually gonna get steeper as we go out there.
We had a little bit of movement, but noticed that both side streets were taking every gap and not letting the people on our street go. While this was happening, one guy got high-centered trying to escape the craziness. More cars kept breaking down because it was taking so long, then the tow trucks would have to come back in and tow them, which made it take even longer, causing more breakdowns.
So we moved a little bit. I just had a real scary moment though, because as I'm sitting here, my foot, I don't notice, is slowly sinking down to the bottom of the floor. And my foot was on the floor with the brake because I'm sitting here applying force. And we started sliding backwards and almost went into the guy in the back, and I had to kill it, put it in reverse. So this is just crazy. This is so scuffed. It keeps like dying. It's starting to die. And then I'm trying to roll in first gear and it's like, oh, well, the good news is we got tropical smoothie.
That is the good news.
How do you feel?
I feel like a lot of good people are getting to the end of their ropes right now in this line. They started off pretty friendly and cheerful, and I think everybody else is just frustrated by there's no traffic coordination in those intersections. So.
Yeah.
But some lady got out and started directing traffic, and everybody started moving. So that's all really what it took.
I think the inflow, this is what I'm thinking is happening. The inflow of traffic is so bad that we're taking so long that cars keep breaking down because we're taking so long, and then the wreckers keep coming to pick up the cars, which is making us take longer and making more cars break down.
Weird.
We're
For the over and under that we're going to end up getting a piggyback ride home.
over 9,000. We're literally playing the staying alive game. We're gonna have to hit the gas every once in a while so it doesn't die.
I genuinely was a non-believer in the budget unicorn surviving this grueling process, yet through all odds, we actually made it to the parade line. That's where we found another line coming from another direction. They were zipper merging into one line, which if you don't know, is the most inefficient thing you can do with traffic. Not to mention, after another half mile, they immediately split us again into two rows like we originally were.
Yeah, I'm gonna need the suggestion box when this is over with.
Yeah, we got a couple suggestions. Actually moving, I think we're about to enter the parade, the parade.
Once we did that, we actually started driving in the parade, which honestly was a really cool moment. Even after seeing all the classic cars in the line, I didn't realize how big this event was until I saw the parade crowd. There was businesses and tents with around 100,000 people spread out over several miles. They had bands on almost every corner. It's something I'm glad I stuck around for.
So we landed in the perfect spot in line. The guy behind us, he has a Cougar. So every 4 seconds, he sets off a Cougar noise. Did you hear it? That was the Cougar noise. There it was again. And again.
We even saw my mom and grandparents at the very end of the parade.
There's Mom.
Afterwards, we swung over to Arnold's, which is a cheeseburger place known for its classic cars, and we hung out with some friends.
All right, we did it. We completed the parade. The car actually lived. It got really close to dying a couple times though, like full on for real die, but we made it. We're now at Arnold's.
This was also when I realized how hot I had gotten.
Managed to make it through the parade. However, my brother got turned away. They wouldn't let him go through.
He let us know that they actually shut down the parade. They stated they couldn't keep it open any longer and that the people who didn't get through didn't show up in time. Probably one of the silliest things you could say considering the situation. Unfortunately, it's left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths in regards to the whole event. But throughout this, Vice Grip Garage has been working hard to find some reason and trying to get everyone refunded.
So I was thinking, would I do it again? Absolutely not. It was truly pretty miserable the entire time, but I'm glad I was able to make it through, and I sincerely hope they figure out some sort of way to make it right for all the people that weren't able to.
So this video is a little bit more critical than something I would normally make, but I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't lying about the experience because this is kind of the way everything turned out. But one thing I want to mention I've been thinking a lot about lately is in this short life we have, I think we should prioritize finding stuff that fills our cup and gives you energy after doing it. And I've been kind of on this search for these kind of things. Driving, racing is definitely one of them, but I'm still looking for more. So if you guys know anything like that that really fills your cup, feel free to throw it down below, and thanks so much for watching.